Never enter the dungeon alone, Suponez said. Alone, Suponez's apprentice had never entered the dungeon at all. Every time he asked to accompany Suponez into the depths, he would receive a curt no, a grunt, or no response at all. Lucien, Suponez's imp familiar, would laugh and taunt him because he was allowed to accompany Suponez into the dungeon whenever he wanted to go. But now Suponez has gone into the dungeon and not returned. Only Lucien has come back, and he is being quite evasive as to his master's whereabouts. So the apprentice has come to the Scuppernong Inn, searching for a group of adventurers to accompany him into the depths of the dungeon to solve the mystery of his missing mentor. Are there any brave enough to join him? Well, that's the hook for the adventure, and the adventure assumes that there's no trouble building finding a party at the Scuppernong Inn, but you could roleplay that out if you're using this adventure as a tabletop. It's a home game session. And so we assume that we get a party, and so in Adventure Workbook, we build a new party. And you're going to see characters that you're not going to have in your system, because I use Adventure Workbook myself to play and adventure through a lot of the Pathfinder stuff coming from Paizo. And so we're going to add fighter, but these guys are in there in your that I'm adding here are in your workbook. They are in there by default. So we have fighter, scout, cleric, and mage. Mage is who I assume is the apprentice, and we have now loaded up our party, and our party is now ready to adventure. If we check it out and we go over to the combat sheet, we can see that now the party has all been loaded up appropriately. Alright, back to Game Portal, and then back to the adventure itself. Your adventuring group has gathered on the first floor of Suponez's tower. Suponez's apprentice has scrounged through the entire tower, at least the rooms to which he has access, to find a potion of cure moderate wounds for each member of the party. A potion of fire resistant, bull strength, bear's endurance, fox's cunning, owl's wisdom, and cat's grace were also found. The apprentice has a wand of magic missiles that Suponez kept fully charged, 100 charges for him. There are also ever-burning torches for whoever wants one. There's also an urn of alchemist fire with 12 draughts of the volatile liquid, and 12 stoppered flasks, which each make a nice receptacle to create a deadly little bomb. Opening the door to the dungeon reveals broad stone steps descending into darkness. Now, when you're keeping track of the equipment that you're picking up in Adventure Workbook, we do have a treasure sheet feature, but that really can get filled up pretty quickly. And when you go from adventure, sometimes you want to do. There's multiple strategies you could do. You could go with a notepad. Just keep a little notepad for your different characters. Go in here and then just type in, cure moderate wounds, potion of bull strength, and this might be the fighter file. And then you need to save it out somewhere on your desktop or hard drive to keep track of how you're doing, but of where you are and what this thing is doing. But you also can just use a little notepad or sheet of paper to keep track of things as well. There is not a whole lot of functionality built into the program for keeping it and being able to review it quickly during combat, except for this little trick, which I'm now about to show you. I'm not going to save this. So we're going to go back to update party, and I'm going to go to fighter. And if you go into the edit function and go into modify spell list, well, I have feats here, but I can have as many as 3 spell categories. So I could go modify in here, and I could add a magic items category. And then sometimes you want to have it capable of casting some charges. just put any kind of spell point in there. And then modify, and then we can come in here and we can type it right in there. So we could add a potion of cure moderate wounds. And a potion of bull strength. And then when those are used, you could come in and click remove and get rid of them. But, you know, some characters will even have all 3 spell slots taken up, so they won't be able to use this kind of trick. We are hoping in the future to provide a lot of new development for the adventure workbook. We're not ready to do that now, but in the future we hope we'll be able to do that, and we will definitely improve on our ability to handle equipment and what you pick up during the course of adventuring for each tune. So we now built our party. We now allotted all the stuff, and now we're about to start down into the darkness.